Hey folks, I'm Alex with Skill Mammoth Digital. It's a website and SEO agency in the Twin Cities, right? So we focus mostly on HVAC and trades folks, but we have pro services clients as well. So folks in staffing, recruiting, law firms, medical clinics, etc., right? But mostly folks in the trades. Anyway, these videos are me building that agency in public. Every day I go through the numbers, the work, the stuff I said I did yesterday and what I did today, and if I accomplished that or not. So we answered 4 questions every single day. What did I make, which is my revenue? How am I getting more revenue with my sales motion? How I'm keeping it with my fulfillment and, CSM strategy, and then what I'm doing to fix the business, right? So the business strategy at the very end, same 4 questions every single day. If you want to do it alongside me, feel free to do it. Post in the comments, post your own videos. I'll watch it, but let me know. So let's talk revenue. So today, $21,668. That went up from yesterday by roughly, $900 or so. That was because of a annual plan for the SaaS that I sell. Really, it's not a huge part of my business, but it is growing because we serve a lot of roofers. I built a lead gen tool for roofers, and we sell it a decent amount of time. We've done some cold email campaigns for it. We have one franchise, which is really nice because they have 20 locations. And they're slowly rolling it out to those locations. So it's, at the end of the day, that'll probably be $20,000 a year just from that particular client. But it's growing. It's underground. I'm trying not to swivel chair too much and focus on all the different shiny objects. But RoofMammoth is growing. Skill Mammoth is way, way a bigger part of my business with a lot more. But as RoofMammoth grows, I might either hire somebody to focus on it or put a little bit more of my sales stuff on it. Anyway. That's that. Calls. I said I was going to do cold calls yesterday. I did some, but not a lot. And I need to get better at that. That's kind of the whole report. I know cold calls are kind of lower on the tier list for most cold outbound for folks. But in my niche, which is mostly home services and trades folks, they always, especially in the owner operator side, they always have their phones. Due to the way that Google penalizes you if you don't pick up your phone in time with local service ads, they're always going to pick it up, or somebody on their team. So, cold calls, I think we'll have a higher performing rate, theoretically. And one of the biggest people in my space, with an asterisk, right? It's guru speak. So, you never know how much of it is actually their own revenue that they built on their agency versus how much is the sub, I make all this in our info product. But he grew his company to $100,000 a month just on cold calls. Anyway, so it's a proven method, and I want to try it, with ours. But on the bright side, the website is working. So obviously we do SEO and GEO for our clients. We do a lot of it for ourselves as well. And it's working, right? So we got 2 meetings last week from SEO and GEO, and today we got 1 as well. So the inbound is starting to become a bigger part of our pipeline, which is great because it's essentially, free other than the time that we're spending on it. And so I'm going to put more gas on it. That's part of what I'm doing right now. Just kind of working on my content chops, practicing kind of making extemporaneous videos so I can put more of that out there, whether that's on my social channels or just attaching to the blogs we're already doing on the website to help that perform. So what's actually in the pipe? So this is not my full pipeline. We've got like 300K-ish of total pipeline, but this is like the most recent exciting stuff. And 300K sounds exciting, but just due to the way that close rates work and how people fall off between stages in the pipeline, these are just people who are interested, and then all the way to getting them one is 300K. And so roughly, I'm probably expecting 30K of those to close in like the next 60 days. It's less impressive than you probably think it is. But anyway, these are the most exciting recent stuff. So we got a staffing agency that I talked to on Friday. They said they were ready to buy on Friday, and they've looked at the proposal twice because I get little pings whenever they look at the proposal, and they haven't bought yet. I pinged them today, and one of the guys in their team said, we think we'll have something ready for you by Monday. So I think it's just a committee situation where there's just too many decision makers. They got to run it up and all that kind of stuff, but we'll see what happens. And then these other 2, landscaping guy, he was outbound. That's a cold email client, $700 a month for his SEO. I think that'll probably close. They seem super excited and stoked on the call. It is a client that has a son. That sounds weird, but his son was on the call. He's like a recent college grad, and he knows how to use some basics on Claude Code. So I think it might be one of those situations where he's like, no, Dad, I can just do it for you. And I don't think he can, right? I mean, good for him if he does, right? Save the $700 a month, but, you're going to learn a lot of lessons that I learned. It'll take you time to get to where I'm at, is what I'm saying. Anyway, whatever. Pest control is $3,000 for the website, then $300 per month. That was an inbound lead. I just texted him right before I did this video. We'll see if he closes, right? He's a weird client. He doesn't do Zoom calls. That's just age bracket kind of thing. So we'll see what happens. Okay, let me talk about my goals for sales. So I try to get 2 meetings booked a day. And that's, I'll tell you why I like to do that. Obviously, I'd love to get more, but 2 meetings on average basically makes it impossible for me to fail at hitting my goals, right? So my goals, I try to make at least 12K in like project revenue a month, and then obviously keep on growing my floor MRR higher and higher and higher and higher. And since my average ticket is $3,000, that's just 4 sales a month. And that also means if I get 10 calls a week, that means I only have to close 10% of my calls. So that's kind of why I try to book 2 meetings a day. Obviously, I'd like to get more. And obviously, my close rate's probably higher than 10% on average if I would just, really sit down and look at the math. But yeah, at that volume, it's impossible to fail. That's why I try to do that. I'll skip over this because it's kind of, I just got accounts receivable from some recent people. It's only $1,250. I might have to turn a client's website off. It's the first client I'll ever have to do that for, but, they're a month past due and they owe me $800. And it's like, hey, man, what are we doing here, dude? I'm not going to continue paying for all this stuff and doing stuff for you if you're not going to pay the bills that you owe, but it is what it is. All right. So skipping forward to fulfillment, the tasks I need to get done. We have 8 tasks on the docket. 6 are mine, 2 are delegated to Kayla from today. That grew from yesterday just because we have people it's Monday, people just ask us to do stuff. And yeah, so one of those tasks that Kayla's doing, I'm a little leery about. It's a problem client, not a problem client. She's just a very needy client, right? Just to give you context, she sent over 50 emails to me in the last month. And really, it's just, if she would send it in like 1 email, we'd be fine. But like when she asks us to edit something in 1 email and then there's 50 other emails, it gets a little tough. We're not even to revision stage yet. So this is still build. So I'll keep kind of like I'll be with Kayla if she needs to ping me on Slack or so. I just don't have the time to deal with that. So I had to delegate it to Kayla. And then the 6 other projects are more custom stuff that I'm working on. Okay. Some CSM stuff. I have never had churn before in the 3 years that Skill Mammoth happened, right? But I know it eventually will. I got 2 clients that I'm doing cold outbound for, and we're getting leads. They're getting positive replies more than Skill Mammoth is even in our campaigns, and they're just not closing on any of them. And I just don't think they know how to do cold sales, right? It's a lot harder to close somebody who you reached out to than it is like somebody you got a referral from. So they're like, man, I got all these positive replies and these leads, but none of them have booked a meeting or anything. And I'm like, you got to try harder, right? Is basically what I'm saying. Anyway, they might walk out the door. I'm not too sad. It's not a massive amount for me, but obviously just prestige wise, it's really cool to see. I never had anybody churn. Anyway, stuff internally, I'm going to push SEO and content harder. My content motion is really low right now. So I think these videos will help. Just let me know if you have any feedback on how I do these videos. I just want to make sure that they're good. These particular videos are more for, I'm putting this on a different channel, not the Skill Mammoth digital channel, but it's kind of the style I have the time to do, which is just turn on the camera and go with the presentation. So let me know if this is something that is interesting. If I do it like more focused on like my niche specifically, like how to get like HVAC leads, for example. But yeah, I just want to do more content. I want to do more SEO. I want to do more middle funnel stuff now that we're getting our top of funnel like pretty good, at least from the awareness side, and to really close it, right? So awesome. Cool. Tomorrow I'm going to pick up the phone again. Yeah, I checked it out yesterday. I'll do it tomorrow. That's really it. But this has been my video, daily updates number 3. Let me know what you think, and let me know how you're growing your business in the comments. Peace.